Excelsior, Spidey fans, and welcome to Hot Toys' movie masterpiece series, Stan Lee, and my review of this really awesome action figure. We're taking a look right now at this really great slipcase that houses the inner figure, and as I scroll up a little bit, I'm just going to come in and pull back to show you the figure himself, which comes with tons of accessories, including a really cool chair, some sunglasses, a whole bunch of different hands for posing, a pen for signing your 1/6 scale comic books. We're going to go ahead and take him out of the box and give him a good look over. Excelsior! Okay guys, here is Stan Lee fresh out of the box. I know I usually spend a little more time talking about the doll, the action figure, and the accessories in the box, but in this case, because it was really double plastic, the plastic frame on the outer box, and then he was encapsulated in plastic on the inside, it was kind of hard to see. So I thought I'd just take him right out, and we could start talking about his ensemble, which seems to be pretty much in keeping with the Stan Lee that we've seen at various Comic-Cons, and even in his cameos in the Marvel picture movies. Picture movies? Yes, I talk like I'm from the 1930s. Sorry about that, guys. I don't think he's quite as salt and pepper. Let me see if I can scroll up a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. He's not quite as salt and pepper as the hair in this sculpt shows you. He's actually gone completely white at this point. But that's okay. We can let him have a little vanity. He's wearing, you can definitely see it in this video, and it is a real life statement. The shirt is kind of off-white, almost into like a beige. The trousers are most definitely brown, Crayola brown, and he's got a blue windbreaker on, which is lined, and that's something I think is pretty cool, because usually it's hit or miss with action figures if they'll line the coats and whatnot, but this is lined. If I extend his arm out, oops, it doesn't have pockets, and though this shirt does have a pocket that you can potentially do this. This is the pen, and you can certainly stick the pen in there. Hopefully, since it is a 1/6 scale pen, it won't leak. He has a very pronounced belt buckle, which does seem to work. This is not for staging. And the only reason why I'm doing this is to see if, nope. The fly is Velcro, and the pants are not lined, as I said. Like I said, with action figures, it's hit or miss if they will line the entire outfit. But this is actually kind of good, because the Velcro trousers means that these trousers can go from one figure to another. And that can sometimes be an issue, because as you saw through the fashion doll set that I did, not every... just going to leave that undone. Oops. Not every fashion doll is going to be exactly 11.5 inches with the same sets of measurements. They're going to be different. And that's also true with action figures. They might be 12 inches in length, heel to toe. I'm sorry, heel to head. But what the length of the leg, the length of the arm, the chest circumference, that might all be very different. Let me go ahead and fix him and put him in the chair, and we're going to continue talking about this figure. Okay, I set Stan Lee in the chair because I wanted to show you a couple of more details about the figure itself. It does have here, you can probably see it, but I want to bring it in just to point this out, the detailing in the neck to show the aged Adam's apple. He's also got weathered I'll say, yeah, that's probably the best word for it. Weathered hands. He also was wearing an undershirt, which is not always a detail that they will include. It doesn't look like the undershirt's well made, so I don't think it would survive too many transfers from one action figure to another. He is wearing white sneakers, which do appear to have a familiar logo to them. Kind of looks like New Balance, somewhere between the New Balance and perhaps maybe Nike, but because they didn't get the license, they really can't say. I also put on his glasses, which were very easy to do. As I said, he comes with many pairs of hands. The ones that I have on are flat hands. The next two pairs, these are both left hands. One for him to say, I love you. And the other seems to be sort of like, almost like he's kind of starting to do the okay sign, but not really. Kind of a half fist, half okay sign. They're all wearing rings, so both hands are going to be wearing these silver bands. So that's authentic. On his right hand, he has this, like he's going to point towards something. We also have another I love you hand. And another half fist, half maybe getting ready to point, doing something, talking with his hands. None of these, by the way, are going to be able to hold the pen. The pen is the kind of fountain pen that I've seen many times with Hot Toys figures, Medicom figures, ZCWO figures. In other words, it's authentic in its diameter, but you would really have to take some sticky tape or a very small rubber band to rubber band it onto the hand. None of these hands can hold that pen. The other thing that he comes with are these 1970 style sunglasses. Not quite aviators, but, the groovin' 70s look. I'm going to go ahead and switch them out. There you go. So, again, this is Stan Lee. This is the guy that we know and we love until you find out that there was such a thing in the 1970s called work for hire, and you discover that some of your favorite comic book writers and comic book artists are not getting the proper royalties they should get as the Avengers movies grow exponentially in popularity. And Stan Lee was as the editor of Marvel, part of that policy that really has not done economic justice to a lot of really good people. And I did want to say that because I am a comic book fan and I am a fan of Stan Lee, but I'm also a fan of Bill Finger, of Don McGregor, of others who are right now not getting the credit and, more importantly, in their golden years, the financial support they deserve because of Marvel and DC work-for-hire policies. Okay. Enough proselytizing. The figure himself is very sturdy. On the one hand, and I do mean this, on the one hand, the hands are very easy to interchange. But at the same, and you can certainly pose them very nicely. You saw I had him sitting on his lap. I can have him, as I will in a second, with his arms behind him. Close up the shirt. shirt buttons are always going to be tricky. On the one hand, these are actual buttons, which is a beautiful thing. On the other hand, these are buttons, and you have to be very careful that you don't actually, if you yank too hard, they're not sewn in terribly tightly. And that can be a problem. And that's actually one of the hallmark differences between an action figure and a fashion doll. A fashion doll, the clothing is made well. Everything is made to look good. On an action figure, they're going to spend the money, if they've gotten the license, which they clearly did here, they're going to spend the money on the face sculpt. And the clothing may fall by the wayside. But when the clothing falls by the wayside, they can spend a little more time on the accessories. This chair is your typical Hollywood director's chair. In keeping with the scale, when I sat Stan Lee on it, his feet did not touch the ground. They have a footrest for him to rest his feet on. It's very sturdy. It does not fold easily. When I was unfolding it, I had to use a little bit of force. So this is going to be pretty sturdy, and you don't have to worry that once you sit your doll down in it, it's going to collapse in this way. It won't. It's very sturdy. You really, though, can't put anybody else in it since it does in fact say Stan Lee. All in all, if you're a Stan Lee figure and you kind of want to do something funny and have him standing next to somebody like a Tony Stark, or your whatever incarnation of Spider-Man you have, and sort of have the joke of him standing next to them, this is a good figure to do it. He's definitely in that 12-inch range. He's the right proportions. It's a good solid figure. It's not flimsy. He's posable, but the joints are not weak. And the accessories are good, but there's not a whole lot of them. After the multiple hands and the glasses, the pen, and the watch, I guess they couldn't get the license to actually give him a comic book that he could sign with it. But again, hunt around on eBay, hunt around on Etsy. You can certainly find people who would make those for you, and you could set him up in a display at a table, signing posters and autographs and what have you. So, yay! That's him. Great figure. I guess the thing I'm most impressed by is the shirt, because the shirt's an unusual color, and that will actually go well with a lot of male fashion dolls and male action figures, to have something other than a plain white shirt, to have something, a little color variation. I'm also liking this well-made members-only type, which without the members-only logo, members-only type windbreaker here. This will also transfer very nicely from one figure to another. So that's it. That's my review of Mr. Stan Lee. I hope you will enjoy it. I think my next one's probably going to be the House of Cards figure, which is going to talk about not just that version of Kevin Spacey, but a bootleg version that came out many years ago. I'm going to do a little comparison there. So I hope you enjoy it, and if you would like me to talk about other action figures, let me know in the comments box. Excelsior, friends! And see you soon. Bye-bye.